Okay, the C++ version of the B-tree program. So here in this program, it's a C++ program that says for a given set of integers, perform insert and search. So only two things that have been asked over here: insert and search, and a given set of integers. So given set of integers are ideally those values, the primary keys in the index file of our B-tree index, but that's what it really means. So this whole program here is implementing the B-tree structure for the index file entries only in the main memory, right? So max is 4, which means the order of the B-tree here is 4, and min is 2, which means m by 2, that is 2. So we expect each and every node to have at least m by 2 number of keys. So there's a structure here that says element of max. So every node should have at least can have maximum 4 elements. So that's what it means. So we have an array to hold that, and then we have also, along with the keys, we have the references. The references are to the same kind of structure, so that's why it's a self-referential structure, an array of references. So how many child links can be there? Again 4, or the order of the tree, which is max. And then we have an extra link here which is called as parent, which holds the address of the parent node of each and every node. So we have created a user defined data type here called as node of this type structure. Now coming to the class declaration, we have declared a variable here of this structure root. So just a class member, it's available to all of these member functions via the objects. So we have a constructor here. So the first thing that will be called is create new node. So only after a node is created we can start working. So that's why that's the first function or the first method that will be called. So other than that, insert and search, which is what we are expecting: insert, search and display. So for insert to work, we need support of is full, create new node, find leave, split, sort node, update parent, and so on and so forth. So the main part of our program, so there are three options here: to insert an element, to search an element, and to display. So it's a switch case. So the first case one is enter the integer to be inserted. So key is a local variable here. We're reading the key from the end user. So basically that will be the first what goes into the tree first is the first entry in our index file. So that key is read and we are calling the method insert. So let's see what's happening in the insert method. So insert method is here. So it's taking one parameter, the key to be inserted into the B tree. Let's assume initially the B tree doesn't even exist, so there is actually nothing that's even present. But we, as you can see in main here, we have created an object of B tree. So as soon as an object of B tree is created, a constructor is called, and the constructor takes care of create new node. So let's first see what's happening in create new node. See, observe what's happening in create new node. So it returns a value of the type node. Node is a user defined data type. Node temp is equals to new struct node, right? So you're initializing, you're creating a dynamic memory for that node, which is temp. If not temp, so if the dynamic memory allocation didn't happen, then that's out of memory, it's an error. Otherwise, what do we do? So this particular node, what all does this node has? It has an array of child links. It's an array, it has an array of key values, and it also has a parent reference. So it has 4 plus 4 plus 1, it has 5 fields, right? So what we're doing is all the element values are initially -1. So as soon as a new node is created and it is not filled with any values, we're filling that with -1. The child link even doesn't exist, so initially the tree itself doesn't exist, so therefore there's no child as well. So all the child links are also null. What about the parent link? That is also null. So return time. So initially when the program starts executing, there is nothing else but just that we have allocated a memory for a new node, and that new node is held in something called as root. So we're calling that itself as a root. That's the only node, and that's a root node. And we have initialized all the element values to -1 and the child link and the parent link to null. That's what is happening in create node. That's the first method that will be called in constructor. Now getting back to insert, node temp equal to find leaf of root comma key. So let's, in our case one, in our first step, the tree doesn't even exist. We've just allocated memory only for a node which we are calling as root. So what is happening here is we're calling a method called as find leaf. So let's go to find leaf and see what's happening. So find leaf is taking two parameters. What are the two parameters? It's taking root and key. So it's taking root and key. Root does exist here at this point, and key is the key that is to be inserted now, right? That is to be inserted now. So we have to find out which exact leaf will this key go into. That's our first thing that we have to do in the B tree, right? So we go from the root node, we traverse down, and we find out if you have to insert any value at all, we have to go till the leaf level and find out which particular leaf will this new value get inside to. So if x child of 0 equal to null, right? So if the first child doesn't even exist, so which means there are max possible children for this particular node in which we are trying to find the leaf. If the first child itself is null, right, then what do we do? Yes, it's null in our case because there's only one node and there's no other value. So we go for all the values for 0 till max. What do we do is we check if this key equal to x of element of I. So we're just checking that if that particular, if x child of 0 equal to null simply means it's a leaf node, right? It simply means it's a leaf node. If it's a leaf node, in that particular leaf node, look for each and every value. If you're trying to insert a value that's already present in the B tree, then what we say is return null, otherwise return x. That means this particular leaf node is where this value key goes into. That's what it means. The if condition simply would return null or return the address of that particular leaf node telling yes, this goes into this leaf node, or another option is the key that you're trying to insert is already present in the B tree, so a duplicate entry is not possible. Say suppose it's not in the leaf level and this node x is some root node or something like that, then for all the values in that particular root node, what we do is we compare the given key, the key which we are trying to insert, with the elements, with the 0th element, with the first element, with the second element, with the third element. So what's our intention? We have to traverse down the tree to the appropriate structure, and we know that it's a binary search tree organization. So if the key is greater than or equal to this particular element, then we have to go towards that particular to the left only. And if the value it's -1, if the element is -1, that means there's no further values, so that's the end point of it. So which means we have to return find leaf of the previous one. The last is empty, so we have to go to the previous one. So since we are doing that till less than max, for the last leaf we have to do x of child of max -1 comma key. So it's a recursive function. What it's simply doing is it's landing us to the appropriate leaf node where this particular key can be inserted. That's one option. Option number 2 is if the key is already present in that leaf node, then we would get the answer as x. So this here is where we have written, so this is a terminate, this if condition is a terminating condition, whereas the for loop would only run this particular method recursively according to the binary search tree concept. We know that higher levels will have only representative values, and the representative values is the last value of that node. So if that's a last value, then we have to go traverse to that particular link only, otherwise we have to go to the next one, and so on and so forth. So that's how find leaf will give us the particular leaf node. So we had given here, we had called find leaf, and we have stored the answer given by find leaf in temp. The possible answers for temp are the address of the leaf node or a null. So if it is null, if temp is equal to null, or if not temp, that means the integer is already present in the tree, so we cannot do anything. Otherwise, we have found out a leaf node where this key has to be inserted. Our first check is to find out if it is full or if it is not full. So we are calling a method here called as is full of temp. So what is temp now? Temp is one leaf node where we are trying to insert the new key. So we are going to check for is full. Where is full? Is full is here. So that particular leaf node, if x of element of max -1 equal to -1, right? So max is 4, so max -1 is 3. So max -1 is the last index value that's possible. If the last index value is -1, then then it is full, otherwise it's not full, right? So that's what it really means. So because in all the key values we have placed -1, if -1 is not present, that means there are actual values. So we check if the last value is -1. If its last value is -1, then it's really not full, otherwise it is full. right? So that's what it really means. So if it is full or if it's not full, true or false is what it's going to return to us. So getting back to our insert method, so we checked if it is full. If it's not full, then yeah, you can insert. If it is, let's see if it is full. If is full is going to return as 1, then we need to call split. We'll see split later, and we going to call insert recursively again and again. If it is not full, then yes, successful. So what we have to do, we say element inserted successfully. In our case 1, we have only one node. All the key values are -1, and all the child node references are null, and even the parent references is null for 0 till less than max. Or if there is some value already, what we have to do, you have to insert properly. So we check if temp element of I equal to -1, right? So where there is -1, we can insert that possible key. So we're not doing the sorted insertion already, we're going to insert and then sort. That's what we're trying to do. So wherever there is -1, we're going to insert that key. In our case 1, where we check that the first value element of 0 itself is -1, so we say temp element of 0 is key, and we break. So that's the end point of the for loop. And then we say sort node, and then we have to check for what is sort node. But every time, what is this max trying to tell us is, max is telling us the last value which was in that particular node, the last or the maximum value which was in that particular node before the insertion of key. That's what max is trying to refer. And max here, this max here is a local variable that's trying to refer to the last value which was present in the node. So now we're calling sort node. So let's see what's there in sort node. So sort node is trying to check that we just put the new key in the available position wherever there was -1, but we need to take care of sorting the whole thing now. So we have a temporary variable here, temp child and temp element. So for all the values and until the value is not -1, what we do is, again, we're just doing the sequential sort. So we're comparing the first value with the second value, and then the whole thing. So we're running first value with all the remaining values and the second value with all the remaining values. That's how we're trying to do. So we check if the first value is greater than the second value, then we're swapping it using the temp element and the temp child. We take care of swapping not only the value but also the child. That's how this sort function is working. Right. So once a sort is happening, what we try to do here is, once a sort is happening, we inserted the value in that particular leaf node successfully, but we need to check if the value that was inserted in the leaf node is the new max value. If it's a new max value, then we have to propagate the updations up until the root level. So that's why we check if key is greater than max. So max was the existing maximum value. So if the key is greater than the existing maximum value and temp parent is not even null, right, then we have to update the parent, right? We have to propagate it. So we call the method called something here called as update parent. So what's happening in this update parent? Update parent is here. So update parent is taking 3 parameters, that particular node and the key that's been inserted and max. So update parent is called here update parent is called here. So the first parameter is temps parent, the parent node where the update has to happen, and the key which was just inserted, and the actual existing max value. So the parent node and the key that was inserted, and the existing max value. So in new max and I are the local variables here. So for all the elements in the parent node until there is -1, we say new max equal to that particular value. We keep iterating. If x element equal to max, then we change that. So x element is not going to be max anymore, it's going to be key. Why is it going to be key? Because key is the newly inserted value. If key is greater than new max, so new max is the new existing max value, right? If key is greater than new max and x parent, so we have to propagate it to the higher levels as well. It doesn't stop at one parent, it has to go on to all the higher levels of the tree until the root node. So that's why if key is greater than new max, and if again this parent is not null, then we are calling it recursively. So this propagation, this update parent is taking care that the propagation is happening until the root level. So that's what is taken care of in our update parent. So this is what if the temp or if that particular leaf node is not full. What if it's full? Then we call this split method. So what's happening in the split method? Let's see the split method. So we know that when we try to insert more than the order of the tree, we have to split. So if x parent equal to null, so if that particular leaf node doesn't even have the parent, then we do this, otherwise we do this. So we'll see the case 1. If the parent is equal to null, so the parent node doesn't exist, then what we do is we create a new node, right? We create a new node. We're splitting a node x. So we are splitting a node x, so this is node x for us, and then we are creating a new value which is temp, right? So x and temp over here. Now going further, it says root equal to create node. So we created temp and then we created root as well. So x was alone existing, so we created temp and we created root. Root element of 0 is equals to x element of min minus 1. So x actually had 4 values, so max is 4 and min is 2. So min minus 1 would give me a value 1. So whatever is present in this particular index in the value 1, that's going to be root's child of 0. So root's child of root's element of 0. So root element of 0. So in our case, for example, if that given node x here had 1, 3, 4 and 5, and then we try to 5 over here, and then we're trying to insert 2 over here, that's not possible because it's already overflow. So we had to create a root node here and we had to split this node. So what we're trying to tell here is the value which is in the min minus 1, that is which is present here, goes in to this location. So 3 comes over here. 3 is a representative value. We are first splitting and then we are inserting. So we didn't even insert 2 yet. We're first splitting this node. So 3 went over there. And then this we're saying root child of 0 is x. Okay, the child of 0 of this particular node, which was root, is over here. Then root's element of 1 equal to x element of max minus 1. Max minus 1 is 3 and the value at that position is 5. So the value that goes in over here is 5. And the child of 1 is temp. The child of 1 is temp. So temp is a new node, so child of 1 goes over here. So that's what it really meant. Okay. Now x parent equal to root, yes, the node that was splitted didn't have a parent, now the parent became root, and temp's parent is x parent, right? So the temp is the new value that we've created. So whatever is the x parent, that's what is the temp parent. Now the else part. So the first part of our split function is where that particular node didn't even have the parent, else the parent was already existing. Then we have to take care of checking if the parent is also full. If is full of parent, then you have to split the parent as well, right? So even we have to take care of splitting the parent as well. So temp is equals to create new node and temp parent is x parent. So we're just trying to propagate the whole thing. So for all the max values, if x parent, right, so if the node which we are trying to split, if the parent's element of I is equals to x's element of max minus 1, right? So we are just trying to make sure that the parent's child of I is temp. So we're trying to link the parent with the new child node with the new temp value that you have just created, right? So that's what we're trying to do. If parent's element of I equal to minus 1, then if there is no value there, then if x parents of element of I is the minus 1 value changes to whatever the value that's there in min minus 1, and we take care that the child of I is x, right? So if whenever we end up at minus 1, so this is taking care that this particular node is split, but the split doesn't stop at one particular node, it may propagate to the higher levels as well. So that's what it's trying to tell us over here, right? Yeah, even after the splitting and insertion, please observe here there is a sort node that is called. So even the new values that are inserted into the parent also to take care of sorting, because we would have simply inserted the values at a minus 1 position. So sort node is again called over here. So it's always better we take a sample, you take a sample B tree arrangement and then try to trace this. That would be definitely better for you. You should do that, right? So that's what we were trying to do in the split, and then we called insert recursively. So we saw this insert method, then we saw is full, then we saw create new node, we saw find leaf, sort node, and then split as well, and then we saw update parent. Now search, right? So search. So what's happening in search? So the user says search a given key. So what we do is temp equal to find leaf. So find leaf will give me either null or the exact root value where this particular value is present. If temp equal to null, then return 1. So null means yes, it is found that key is present, right? So that's what find leaf would do. Return 0 means the value is not present. So that's how find leaf is working for us. It would return as null if the key is already present. So if it's null, then search would return as true. Now coming to display. So display, definitely you should take a sample B tree and try to trace this display function. So what's happening here is I'll just try to do a little bit of it. So we have created a queue over here of the type node. So all the references, all the values into this array are the type of this user defined data type node. So front is initially 0. So front is over here at 0 and rear is at -1 initially in this queue. Queue of ++r equal to null. So we put a null value into this queue initially and then we put the root value. Definitely we start from the root, so we put the root value over here. While front is less than rear, front is less than rear, so that's true for us. What we do is, if q of f equal to null, yes, q of f is equals to null, because we put the null value first and then we go to the root node. So how this display function is doing is, it puts a null value and then it puts all the nodes in that particular level. The only node in the level 0 is root, so that's the end point of it. When I go to the next level, again I'll put a null value and I'll put all the nodes in that particular level. Then I'll go put a null value and I'll put all the, so this null value will take care of displaying all the values in that particular level all at once, right? So if q of f equal to null, yes, there is null initially, so we say level initially is -1, so we say ++ level, so we are displaying at the 0th level. If q of rear is not equal to null, q of rear was not null because q of rear was root, q of ++ rear equal to null, so we inserted null value here. So here, that's what I told you, after every level we are inserting a null value. And front ++, so front is incremented, front is not now null, front is pointing at the root node, right? So you get back over here, so front is still less than rear, then else. So else part, q of f is not equal to null, q of f is at now at the root node. So for all the values for 0 till max, if q of f of element of I is not equal to 1, so if root, q of f is currently root, if root's element of I is not equal to -1, so you display that, give a space. And q of f, if child of I is not equal to null, if the root had a child node, then you please insert that. Already there was null in the queue, so insert the child of it and then go ahead, right? So you do two things at once, you display the value and you also keep on adding the value into the queue. So after every level we have a big blank space and then we increment the front pointer, or f++, that's what we do. So that's how your display function is working, and I think that's the end of this B tree. So B tree program here, you wouldn't be asked in your lab exam to do this program is important to you only if you have your mini project on B tree or B plus tree, but otherwise also it's always good to know how it is really implemented. So even in your theory exam, if we ask you to write a pseudocode or an algorithm of how split is performed in a B tree, or how the overflow is checked, or how the create node is happening, you must be in a position to write them, not even if not as a complete code, you should know it as the pseudocode or algorithm steps, right?